Dana White has already decided Arman Tsarukyan isn't getting anywhere near a title shot, and the shocking part is that he's not even hiding why, so keep watching because the real reason hits harder than any punch Arman has ever thrown.
And last thing on lightweight, Arman Tsarukyan, obviously the odd man out now. We expect Ilya to be unifying against the interim title winner, which would, make a long runway for his title.
I wouldn't say that he's the odd man out. He had an opportunity, and you guys know how that played out, and he's gonna have to work his way back. I don't give a shit what the number says. He's gonna have to work his way back. There's just too much goes into this for those type of things to happen. We had a little. We were talking back in my room tonight, and we were talking about all the crazy shit that's happened over the last 20-something years. But you can't do that. You can't get the opportunity, and then you can't end that way. So he's got to work his way back.
Dana White fires the first shot by reminding everyone that the UFC 311 chaos still hangs over Arman Tsarukyan like a storm cloud, and he makes it brutally clear that the Armenian contender must rebuild from scratch because the lightweight division is a battlefield that rewards momentum, not memories.
What do you think about the whole Tsarukyan situation with him being on the outside right now? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, sucks to be him, honestly.
Leave it at that.
It is what it is. I mean, no, the kid is a problem. There's no doubt about it. This is a crazy game, and he's going to get his chance. So, see what happens.
White doubles down by saying nothing in this division is handed out, and Arman needs to grind for his position all over again, while Pimblett and Gaethje move ahead in the title conversation. But keep watching because this decision sparks a chain reaction across the entire roster.
Do you think, because of what had happened with the Islam Makhachev fight, even though he just beat Dan Hooker, he headlined, he's kind of been, slid out of the way?
It's not even just that, though, is it? You know what I mean? People talk about my last 3 wins. Yeah, it's Tony Ferguson, who was on his way out. But Dariush looks about 65. You know what I mean? He's got a full head of grey hair. He beat Dariush. He didn't beat Charles Oliveira. A lot of people didn't think he won that fight. On his way out to the cage, he punched a fan. Got banned. UFC probably had to pay a big fucking fee for the fella not to sue him. He then got his title shot and, I've got a bad back. Fucking got beat by back pain when really he probably just couldn't even make weight. Sits out for fucking 11 months. Gets offered the fight in the meantime against Gamrot. Says no. When if I ever got offered the fight against someone who'd beat me, I'd be taking that fight immediately. Then fights Dan Hooker. Headbutts him at the weigh-in. No, so nearly ruined another main event. You can understand why he's not on that.
Justin Gaethje steps in with rare sympathy for Arman Tsarukyan, calling him a massive problem for anyone in the cage and reassuring fans that despite the setback, Arman's time will eventually come, even if it isn't now.
This is Arman's fault, this is Topuria's fault, this is, when I fought Makhachev, Arman was supposed to fight for the title and he f***ed up the division, that's the truth,
Yeah.
If we had fought that night, the division would keep going, but now we have Topuria going through divorce or something like that. He doesn't want to fight, but it is what it is. They have Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. To me, this is going to be the paper champ. That's not a undisputed champ, and doesn't make any sense to do this interim belt because Topuria will be the champion anyways. Yeah. So whoever gets the belt now have to face Topuria for the unification of the belt. So to me personally, doesn't make any sense. The fight should be #1 contender. But why UFC did that? Because they solve a lot of problems with that. Because Justin Gaethje was saying if he didn't get the title shot, he would retire.
Paddy Pimblett immediately flips the energy with savage criticism toward Arman, mocking his past decisions, questioning his close calls against Dan Hooker, calling out the fan punching incident, and blasting him for allegedly delaying fights he should have accepted without hesitation. And this is where the drama begins escalating fast.
I thought I was going to fight on this Jan 24th card, so I was preparing for Ilya for a couple of weeks, to be honest, just doing bits of training for him. And then obviously we got told it's Justin, Ilya's not fighting, so obviously me and Ilya mightn't like each other, lad, but I wish him nothing but the best with all his family shit. It's nothing to do with fighting. But when I win this belt, I'm the champ for now. I don't care if it says interim on it, I'm the champ, he's out the cage, I'm the f***ing champ.
Renato Moicano jumps in, claiming the entire lightweight division is stuck in quicksand because Arman missed the Islam Makhachev fight, saying the matchup would have moved everything forward and that with Topuria out, the Pimblett vs. Gaethje interim belt is basically meaningless. But stay tuned because the next twist might be the most explosive yet.
Obviously, me and Ilya mightn't like each other, lad, but I wish him nothing but the best with all his family. It's nothing to do with fighting. But when I win this belt, I'm the champ for now. I don't care if it says interim on it. I'm the champ. He's out the cage. I'm the champ.
I was just going to ask you that because you were on our Full Send podcast a little while ago, and you almost like made this whole thing happen because you were like, no, I don't want Ilya to win the title. And you were like, I want my first UFC lightweight title defense to be against Ilia Topuria. So the way things have panned out, you're viewing this fight against Justin Gaethje as the actual UFC lightweight title.
Yeah, that's it. Because that's the belt what's in front of me, you know what I mean? I'm not going to do a Justin and throw it on the floor and say I'm waiting for the real one. This is the real one. While Ilya's out of the cage, this is the real belt. And I'm coming to take it on with me. That's coming back to Liverpool, lad. It's as simple as that.
Paddy Pimblett fires back again, saying he already considers himself the real champion, insisting that once he wins the interim belt, nobody can deny him the throne, while Ilia Topuria sits on the sidelines dealing with personal matters.
Do you feel like, because I think the odds are in favor of Paddy, like, do you feel like you're going to play spoiler, or do you feel like, hey, they're looking at this whole thing wrong right now?
Oh, no, I love being the underdog. I think I've been the underdog. So out of the 12 fights, I think I've been an underdog like 8 or 9 times, you know, because I'm always fighting such tough competition. But yeah, absolutely. I'm going to do the same thing I did with Tony Ferguson and Khabib. I'm going to fight this whole thing up, and then I'm going to fight Ilya.
Paddy softens slightly by wishing Topuria well, but doubles down hard that once he's holding the belt, the interim label becomes irrelevant because he will be the champion by action, not by name.
So I know the last time you won that interim belt, you threw it on the ground in the cage, says it wasn't the priority for you. Do you have different feelings towards it this time and what it could mean at this point in your career?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that it wasn't a priority. It was that I knew Khabib was next. And if I was going to sit there and think that I was any kind of champion with that belt, with Khabib being next, I think I was, going to be foolish. I needed that mindset to prepare for that fight, and he beat me. And but ultimately, like I said, this gets us paid as a champion, and it definitely gives me the chance to fight Ilya. I want to fight Ilya. I want to play spoiler just like I did in Khabib and Tony. I'm going to up for everybody, and there's going to be no Paddy and Ilya. I'm going to do the same thing I did for that fight. And then I'm going to fight Ilya on the White House card if he's ready to fight again. We'll see when he's ready again.
Justin Gaethje unloads his own prediction, saying he plans to dismantle Pimblett with the same brutality he used against Tony Ferguson and the same pressure he attempted to use against Khabib, promising to turn the interim title fight into a message for Ilia Topuria.
It is what it is, and timing is everything. And this is perfect timing to finish everything off like I want to.
I was just gonna actually let's touch on that. When you said finish everything off like I want to, what exactly do you mean on that? Like, are we looking towards the end of the line? Like, are we just looking one fight at a time? Or
it's always been one fight at a time, but I would be a fool to say that this is the beginning. There's no doubt that the end is near, and I've been in some of the biggest fights ever in this company, and they continue to give me these opportunities, and so I'm so thankful for them for giving me this chance to prove that I'm one of the best in the world again. Since 2017 I fought 12 times and only one guy's been outside of the top 5. So I've been here, I've been putting in the work, and it's a tough game. It's a crazy game. Everyone's always like, you're gonna win. I'm like, dude, it's such a crazy game. I'm gonna be as ready as I can, and I'm gonna give 100% max effort. And it is what it is.
Gaethje ramps up the hype by saying UFC 324 is his chance to play spoiler again, just like he did in the Tony vs. Khabib situation, teasing that he wants to derail Pimblett's hype train and force a showdown with Topuria.
But it's a privilege to share the octagon with such a legend, and it's gonna be unbelievable to get in there with him. And as you said, until Ilya comes back, this is the real belt. People call it a fake belt all they want, but until Ilya comes back into the octagon, this is the belt. Me and him are fighting for the lightweight championship.
Gaethje then admits his career is entering its final stretch, but promises to give every last ounce of himself in each fight, saying he takes things moment by moment and will show up ready for absolute war each time he steps into the cage.
At the end of the day, I know how hard it is for a father. You know, shout out to Topuria trying to figure that out. And I hope he does, you know. I hope he can come back. If it's him coming back at 170, it's him coming back at 170. But, you know, I got unfinished business, so maybe we go up to 172 and he gets that done.
Paddy Pimblett again refuses to let go of the narrative, saying the interim lightweight belt is the real belt until Topuria returns, insisting fans will have no choice but to recognize him as champion the moment it's wrapped around his waist.
Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje, it's gonna be interesting fight because we know Paddy Pimblett, he does know jiu-jitsu, grappling. If they go striking, I think Justin will beat him. But if they try more grappling, then Paddy got this, and who knows what they're gonna do, you know? Either what kind of fights they will show. And yeah, I don't know who will be winning. Both can win.
Max Holloway enters the conversation with a bombshell revelation that he's willing to chase Ilia Topuria all the way to welterweight for a rematch, joking that unfinished business drives him, and that 170 could be next depending on how long Topuria remains away.
Well, whoever wins that fight, whether it is Paddy or Justin, how do you think they fare against when Ilia is ready to return?
Yeah, they have no chance against Ilia. Either Paddy or Justin, you know. Ilia, very good champion. We know he hits hard, and also he is good wrestler, good jiu-jitsu.
Merab Dvalishvili breaks down the Pimblett versus Gaethje fight with surprising neutrality, saying Gaethje wins if it stays standing, but Pimblett has a real shot if the fight becomes a grappling contest, and he admits predicting the outcome is nearly impossible.
They're not even, they're just basically saying Paddy's more popular, you're getting it over Arman.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, right? And that's, I mean, God, I hate kind of get into this too much, but I mean, that's really that's the definition of, a monopoly where a single promoter owns the title and the rankings. And it's not a good thing for the sport, in my opinion.
Merab then warns that no matter who wins, both fighters will likely struggle badly against Ilia Topuria when he returns because of his power, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu, creating almost no path to victory for either of them. But keep watching because the next voice hits even harder.
I have to question what it's going to do for the longevity of the sport. I don't think in the short term it's really going to make a big difference, right? It's going to sell the next fight, right? It's going to sell the next pay-per-view. But trends tend to come and go, right? Fads tend to come and go. At some point, to have staying power and lasting power, I think it requires, a meritocracy-based system.
Matt Brown tears into the UFC for giving Pimblett an interim title shot over Arman Tsarukyan, calling it a monopoly-level decision that damages the sport's credibility and rewards popularity over merit.
They're for the interim belt. Who do you think wins that fight?
Paddy. Only because Justin doesn't want another interim belt. That fucker, I mean, that's just it. You could tell, as soon as, when we were fighting, I prepared for a different guy. I'd be real. And it was I want to go in there and that's not about me anyways. We'll talk about Gaethje and Paddy. Paddy's not bad, dude. Paddy's not bad. He's very beatable, and Gaethje's very beatable as well. But when it goes into the passion and how upsetting Justin Gaethje has always been about not getting that real title shot, and they just keep dangling it right there again.
Brown continues by warning that these matchmaking shortcuts might generate short-term pay-per-view spikes, but will hurt the UFC long-term if they keep prioritizing hype over competitive legitimacy.
If you want to bring in guys like Arman Tsarukyan or Movsar Evloev, I always mess up how I say his name. You want to bring in these Olympic wrestling level guys. I mean, they don't want to have to go out there and put on some ridiculous show to become a champion. They don't want to have to go on Instagram and start a podcast and make whatever kind of skits on social media and this silly kind of stuff. They just want to be a world champion because they want to be the best athlete. And that's what makes me wonder how the staying power is going to be, right? When you're dealing with guys that are, legitimate athletes that want to be legitimate athletes, and they're getting passed up by guys that are entertainers.
Braun finishes by attacking the entertainment over athletics trend, saying elite wrestlers like Arman Tsarukyan and Movsar Evloev are being ignored because they aren't clowns on social media, and he questions how long the sport can survive if real athletes are sidelined for showmen.
Paddy's in for a new treat, right? Paddy's the one that's never fought for a belt. He's going in there. He's going to be trying to, get that stuff. He's going to feel a little bit more fresher. He's going to have that little bit of excitedness, in my opinion. So if I was going to the book and I was going to try to place the bet, I mean, shit, I would go with the new kid that's going in there and that's going in there for the new opportunity, rather than the old kid that fought for the belt, disrespected it, threw it on the fucking and give a shit for it. In my mentality, that's how he's going to be again. It's going to go for Paddy, in my opinion. So best of luck for both of them. I hope they knock each other.
Tony Ferguson jumps in with a psychological breakdown, saying Paddy Pimblett has the hunger of a man chasing his first big moment, while Gaethje carries the emotional weight of past failures, predicting Paddy's mindset might give him the edge.
I reckon Pimblett's beating him. Mixing up the grappling and the striking, staying at range, not being in the pocket with him like a Chandler would be, like a Fiziev would be. I reckon Pimblett's going to beat him. Gaethje coming towards the tail end of his career. I just want to mention now, Arman Tsarukyan is... this is tough for Arman. Okay, he's probably going to have to fight someone else. He said he would be on this card. I don't know if they then called him and he said, no, I can't be on that card, and that's why they've done this. If that's what comes out from this, I guess it could be a bit more understandable, because otherwise it would have been Nunes Harrison to main event, and we just can't have that.
MMA Guru follows up by predicting Pimblett will beat Gaethje using smart distance management and grappling instead of brawling, saying Gaethje is aging and that the scheduling chaos might have robbed Arman Tsarukyan of the fight he deserved.
This is a very, very tough competitive matchup. Now, Justin Gaethje is no spring chicken. I think he's 36 years old. But you know what you're going to get with Justin Gaethje. Yes, of course, against Max Holloway at UFC 300, he got knocked out. He got embarrassed. He got face planted. I tell you what, it was a shocking scene, okay? But that's not normally what happens with Justin Gaethje. He is one of the most exciting fighters. They do call him the human highlight reel for a reason. He's got great wrestling, but the boxing, the striking, the leg kicks, the punch power that he has, I'm telling you, this man is no joke. And neither is Paddy Pimblett, right? We saw last time against Michael Chandler, he is the real deal. He absolutely smoked him. He's undefeated in the UFC. He put a beating on Michael Chandler.
Guru doubles down by calling the matchup absolutely wild, joking about Pimblett's sudden climb into the top 5 as Scouse magic, and pointing out that Gaethje demanded a title shot or retirement, making the stakes higher than ever.
This is insane. Gaethje versus Pimblett is an absolutely insane fight. I'm looking forward to it. This is a massive, massive matchup. Ton of hype on the line, but I do want to mention, Pimblett has floated up to number 5 in the rankings. Magically. Scouse magic, dude. Scouse magic. Don't ask for that on a street corner in Liverpool, by the way, but this is some Scouse magic. Okay? He just levitated his way into an interim title shot, which is insane, but fair enough. As an Englishman, I'm all on board with this. But, it is what it is. I think he'll beat Gaethje, but let it be known, Gaethje said, I'm not fighting ever again, and I'll retire if you don't give me a title shot. And they bent the knee. They bent the knee to Justin Gaethje and just gave him what he wanted.
Michael Bisping sees the fight as a razor-close war, reminding everyone that Gaethje is still incredibly explosive with elite wrestling and striking, and that the Max Holloway knockout doesn't tell the full story.
And for Justin Gaethje, this is the final go. This is the final crack of the whip. The man's had 2 title fights in the past, Charles Oliveira to Khabib Nurmagomedov, and now he gets to go up against Paddy Pimblett. Now, talking about the matchup, of course, it is an easier fight for Justin than what it is against Khabib Nurmagomedov, one of the greatest of all time. Islam Makhachev, the current pound for pound, and according to many people, a man that is surpassing Khabib Nurmagomedov, right? So in that regard, it is an easier matchup. Will Paddy be able to take him down? Will he dance around the octagon? Yes, he will. Will he try and replicate the game plan of Max Holloway? Of course he will. Who wouldn't try and do that? You aren't going to stand and go toe-to-toe with Justin Gaethje because the man does have knockout power. But underestimate Paddy at your peril. That's all I'll say about that one, but that is a phenomenal fight.
Bisping also praises Paddy Pimblett's domination of Michael Chandler and undefeated UFC run, calling him a legitimate threat who shouldn't be underestimated regardless of the interim tag.
I mean, I just really don't feel like there's an argument there.
What do you mean? What?
Gaethje versus Paddy? Okay,
Yeah.
if you had only watched one of those fights and you ask America, you ask the world, you only get to watch one.
Yeah.
January 24th, you only get to watch one. Who do you guys want to watch? Be honest. Who do you
Easiest.
think they pick?
Bisping concludes that this is Gaethje's last chance for a legacy win, warning that Pimblett's movement and discipline could frustrate Gaethje, but one mistake could still get Paddy brutally knocked out, making the matchup one of the most dangerous of the year. Sean O'Malley steps in to counter criticism of the UFC booking, saying the world would pick Pimblett versus Gaethje over Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes any day if forced to choose only one fight, firmly supporting the UFC's decision. Who do you think they pick? Drop your predictions below and make sure to subscribe so you never miss the next twist in this wild lightweight saga.